I saw her sitting there on the pavement. One shoe off, purse open, contents scattered everywhere. And I made a decision that would change both our lives forever. My friend Raymond grabbed my arm. Robert, don't. Just keep walking. But I couldn't. Something in the way she was sitting there, head down, shoulders shaking, told me this wasn't just someone who tripped and fell. This was someone who had been pushed. By life. Or by something worse. Miss, are you okay? I extended my hand toward her. She looked up at me with eyes that held more fear than gratitude. Who are you? What do you want? Nothing. I just want to help you up. She stared at my hand like it was a trap. Like kindness itself was something dangerous. And maybe in her world it was... I'm fine, she whispered. Please just go. But she wasn't fine. Her hands were trembling as she tried to gather her scattered belongings. Her phone, her keys, a lipstick that had rolled toward the curb. I bent down to help, and that's when I heard her say it so quietly I almost missed it. No one helps anymore. Not without wanting something. Before I could respond, I heard footsteps. Fast, angry, getting closer. Get your hands off her. A tall, aggressive man, face twisted with rage, was charging toward us. And the look in the woman's eyes changed instantly. From cautious to terrified. Clark, please, she said, her voice suddenly small. He was just. I didn't ask you to speak, he snapped at her before turning to me. You think you're some kind of hero? You see a vulnerable woman and think you can just swoop in. Raymond pulled on my sleeve. Robert, let's go. Now. But I saw something in that moment that I couldn't unsee. The way she flinched when Clark raised his voice. The way she immediately looked down, shoulders curling inward. The way she apologized for existing. This wasn't her boyfriend being protective. This was her prison guard catching an escape attempt. As Clark grabbed her arm too tight, too possessive, and started pulling her away, I did something stupid. Something that would cost me everything. I slipped her my business card. If you need help, I whispered, call me. I promise I'll answer. Clark saw it. His eyes went dark. Did you just give her something? What was that? Just directions, she lied quickly. I asked for directions earlier. You're lying. Give it to me. I threw it away. It was nothing. Please, Clark, can we just go home? Clark stepped close to me. Close enough that I could smell the aggression on him. I'm watching you, he hissed. You come near her again, and you'll regret it. They walked away. She didn't look back, but I saw her hand close around that card like it was a lifeline. Raymond shook his head. You know this is going to blow up in your face, right? Maybe, I said, watching them disappear around the corner. Then I reached for my wallet, and my heart sank. Raymond, my wallet. I think I dropped it back there. Are you serious right now? That psycho just threatened you, and you want to go back. All my money's in there. My ID. Everything. Raymond grabbed my shoulders. Listen to me, Robert. Every time you try to play the hero, something bad happens. Every single time. And this time feels different. This time feels dangerous. He was right. I knew he was right. But I made a promise. And somewhere in this city, a woman I just met was holding a card with my number on it, deciding whether hope was worth the risk. I had no idea that helping her would cost me my reputation, my peace of mind, and nearly my safety. I had no idea that my simple act of kindness would spiral into threats, accusations, and chaos that would consume my life for months. And I definitely had no idea that 3 months later, she would show up at my door, transformed and free, holding that same card, and ask me one question that would make it all worth it. Does that promise still count? This is the story of how everything went wrong, and somehow ended up so right. Stop. Before we continue, you need to know something. Right now, 97% of you watching haven't subscribed. That's not a guess. That's the actual number. Here's why that matters. Robert's about to lose everything for helping a stranger, and most of you will watch his life fall apart, feel something for 8 minutes, then scroll away and forget this channel exists. When the next story drops about the teacher who saved 30 kids, but got fired for it, you won't see it. The algorithm will bury us. I spend 40 hours crafting these stories about real courage, and you'll consume it like fast food and move on. Don't be part of the 97%. Subscribe right now. 2 seconds. Do it before you forget. I'll wait. Chapter 1. Clark positioned himself between me and the woman like a human wall, his chest puffed out, fists clenched at his sides. You think I don't know what you're doing? Playing the Good Samaritan? I've seen guys like you before. Sir, I promise you, I was just helping her up. That's all. That's all. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You see a woman on the ground, and your first instinct is to put your hands on her, to get close, to play the hero. Raymond yanked my arm harder this time. Robert, come on. This guy is insane. But I couldn't move, because behind Clark, the woman Tamara, I would later learn her name, was Tamara, stood frozen, staring at the pavement. Her arms were wrapped around herself, like she was trying to disappear. And in that moment, I understood something that made my blood run cold. She wasn't afraid of me. She was afraid of him. She'd been afraid long before I showed up. I'm sorry if I gave the wrong impression, I said, trying to keep my voice calm. I genuinely just wanted to help. Clark stepped closer, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper. She doesn't need your help. She has me. You understand? She has me. The way he said it like she was a possession, not a person, made my stomach turn. Clark, please, let's just go, Tamara said quietly, her eyes still downcast. He didn't mean anything by it. Oh, now you're defending him. Clark spun toward her, and she flinched. Actually flinched. First you're sitting on the street embarrassing me, and now you're taking a side? I wasn't, her voice cracked. I just want to go home. Raymond pulled me backward, and this time I let him. But as Clark grabbed Tamara's arm, his grip tight enough to leave marks, I was sure of it and started marching her away. Something inside me snapped. I couldn't just walk away. Not from this. Not from her. I reached into my pocket and pulled out one of my business cards. On the back, I'd written a domestic violence hotline number months ago after a workplace training session. I never thought I'd actually use it. Wait, I called out, jogging toward them. Clark turned, his face darkening. Are you stupid? You dropped this, I said, holding out the card toward Tamara, my hand shaking slightly. As she reached for it, our fingers touched briefly, and I leaned in, whispering so only she could hear, if you need anything at all, call me. I promise I'll help. Her eyes met mine for just a second. In that second, I saw everything. Fear, desperation, and something else. Hope. Maybe. Clark snatched the card from her hand before she could even look at it. What is this? What did you give her? Just my business card, I said, trying to sound casual. In case she needs help with. Help with what exactly? He examined the card, his jaw clenching. Professional networking, Tamara blurted out suddenly. He works in marketing. I mentioned I was looking for career advice earlier, before you arrived. The lie came so quickly, so smoothly, that I knew this wasn't the first time she'd had to cover for something. How many lies had she told to protect herself? How many times had she made excuses for bruises, for tears, for sitting alone on sidewalks? Clark looked between us, suspicion burning in his eyes. Then, slowly, deliberately, he tore my card in half, then in quarters. He let the pieces fall to the ground like confetti. There's your networking opportunity, he said. Then he grabbed Tamara's arm again, tighter this time, making her wince, and leaned close to my face. If I see you anywhere near her again, anywhere, we're going to have a serious problem. You got that, hero? I should have backed down. Should have said nothing. But I couldn't help myself. Maybe the problem is how you're holding her arm right now. Time seemed to stop. Clark's face went from red to purple. Raymond grabbed my shoulder so hard it hurt. Robert, shut up, Raymond hissed. But Clark just smiled. A cold, dangerous smile that made my skin crawl. You have no idea what you just started, he said quietly. Then he turned to Tamara. Let's go. Now. They walked away. She kept her head down the entire time, never looking back. But just before they turned the corner, I saw her hand move to her pocket. She'd picked up one of the torn pieces of my card. The piece with my phone number on it. Raymond shoved me. What is wrong with you? Do you have a death wish? Did you see how he grabbed her? Did you hear how he talked to her? Yeah. And did you see how he looked at you? Robert, that guy is dangerous. And you just painted a target on your back. My phone buzzed. A text from my boss. Where are you? The meeting started 10 minutes ago. I'd completely forgotten about work. About the meeting. About everything except the look in Tamara's eyes. I had to do something, I said, more to myself than to Raymond. You gave her a card that he immediately destroyed. You did nothing except make an enemy. But Raymond was wrong, because 3 days later, at 2:47 in the morning, my phone would buzz with a message from an unknown number. This is Tamara. You said to call if I needed help. I need help. Please. And that's when everything really went wrong. The rumors started the next day. Mrs. Chun from a corner store gave me a cold look when I came in for coffee. I heard what you did, she said, shaking her head. Harassing that poor girl on the street. Shame on you. What? No, that's not. But she'd already turned away. At the gym, Marcus, who I'd known for 3 years, wouldn't make eye contact. In the parking lot of my apartment building, I overheard 2 neighbors talking. Yeah, Clark said the guy was all over his girlfriend. Wouldn't leave her alone. I had to physically pull him away. Clark was rewriting the story, making me the villain. My phone buzzed constantly. Anonymous texts. Stay away from other people's relationships, creep. Men like you are disgusting. Someone left a note on my car, predator. Raymond showed up at my apartment on the 3rd night, furious. I told you not to get involved. I told you this would happen. He's lying, Raymond. I was helping her. It doesn't matter what the truth is. Look what's happening to you. Your reputation is destroyed. People are calling you a stalker. And for what? For some woman you don't even know. I wanted to defend myself. I wanted to say I'd do it again. But the doubt was creeping in like poison. Had I made things worse? Was Tamara suffering more now because of me? Maybe Raymond was right. Maybe I should have just walked away. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing her face, the fear in her eyes, the way she flinched. At 2:47 a.m., my phone lit up. Unknown number. This is Tamara. Can we meet? Please. You promised. My hands were shaking as I typed back. When and where? Raymond's voice echoed in my head. Every time you try to be a hero, something bad happens. But I made a promise. Tomorrow. Java Corner Cafe. 3 p.m. Come alone. Please don't tell anyone. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed, I'll be there. Everything was about to get so much worse. She was already sitting in the corner when I arrived, facing the wall, wearing long sleeves despite the heat and sunglasses indoors. She looked like someone trying to become invisible. Tamara, I said softly, sliding into the seat across from her. She jumped. You came. I promised I would. She pulled her sunglasses down slightly, and I saw it. A bruise, purple-green, spreading from her cheekbone to her temple. She saw me notice and quickly pushed the glasses back up. It wasn't an accident that day, was it? I said, when I found you on the street. Her hands trembled around her coffee cup. He pushed me. We were arguing about a text from my sister. He doesn't like when I talk to my family. Says they turn me against him. He grabbed my phone, I tried to get it back, and he just shoved me. Hard. Tamara. He tracks my phone, she continued, her words spilling out like she'd been holding them in forever. He has an app. He knows everywhere I go. He controls all our bank accounts. I can't access any money. I can't see my friends anymore. He convinced them I didn't want to be around them. My family thinks I'm too busy to call. I haven't spoken to my mom in 4 months. What did you contact me then? Burner phone. I bought it with cash I've been hiding. $20 here, $10 there, from grocery money. It took me 2 months to save enough. She pulled off her sunglasses completely, and I saw the exhaustion in her eyes. I'm so tired, Robert. I'm tired of being afraid. Tired of walking on eggshells. Tired of wondering which version of him I'll get when he comes home. I reached into my bag and pulled out papers I'd printed the night before. I did some research. There's a domestic violence shelter 15 miles from here. They have advocates, legal help, counseling. This woman, I pointed to a name, she specializes in cases like yours. Tamara stared at the papers like they were written in a foreign language. You deserve better than this, I said. Take these resources. When you're ready, they'll help you get out. She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. Why are you doing this? You don't even know me. I'm a complete stranger. And helping me has already caused you so much trouble. Because somebody should, I said simply. Because you asked for help, and I'm not going to ignore that. She broke down then, really broke down, her whole body shaking with sobs. People were starting to stare, but I didn't care. I'm so scared, she whispered. What if I leave and he finds me? What if I can't do this? What if I'm not strong enough? You're stronger than you think. You reached out. That's the hardest part. She wiped her eyes. He's going to know something's wrong. I've been gone too long. Take the papers. Hide them somewhere safe. Call that number when you're ready. She folded them carefully, tucking them into her purse underneath other items. Then she stood, hesitated, and looked at me one more time. Thank you, Robert. Whatever happens, thank you for not walking away. She left through the back exit. I didn't know it then, but Clark was already tracking her phone. He knew exactly where she'd been, and he was about to make my life hell. Clark showed up at my workplace 2 days later. I was in the middle of a presentation when reception called. Robert, there's someone here demanding to see you. He's very agitated. I knew before I even walked into the lobby. Clark stood there, his face red with rage, voice loud enough that everyone in the building could hear. There he is. That's the man who's been stalking my girlfriend. Sir, I'm going to need you to lower your voice, our security guard said. Lower my voice? This predator has been harassing Tamara for weeks, following her, forcing her to meet him in secret. My coworkers appeared in doorways, watching. My boss, Margaret, came down the stairs, her expression unreadable. That's not what happened, I said, trying to stay calm. I helped her once and you gave her your number. You've been texting her. She told me everything. He pulled out his phone, showing screenshots. She's terrified of you, but you won't leave her alone. The screenshots were manipulated. I could see that, but no one else could. I have documentation, Clark continued. Times, dates, locations. I'm filing a restraining order. And if you come near her again, I'm pressing charges for stalking and harassment. Margaret stepped forward. Mr. Clark, I think it's best if you leave now. Oh, I'm leaving. But your employee? He's a danger to women. You might want to think about that. He pointed at me. Stay away from Tamara. This is your final warning. He left. The silence that followed was deafening. Margaret gestured to her office. Robert. Now. I sat across from her desk, feeling like a criminal. Do you need to be concerned? She asked. No. I helped a woman who is in an abusive relationship. Her boyfriend is retaliating by showing up at your workplace and threatening legal action. He's trying to isolate her. I'm a threat to his control. Margaret sighed. Robert, I appreciate your compassion, but I have to think about this company. If he files charges, if this escalates, you're asking me to stop helping someone who's being abused. I'm asking you to consider whether involving yourself in domestic disputes is appropriate. These situations are complicated, dangerous. I left her office feeling sick. Raymond was waiting in the parking lot. Don't say it, I said before he could speak. I told you this would happen. I told you. Now look, your job is on the line. Your reputation is destroyed. And for what? For doing the right thing. Was it worth it, Robert? Seriously, was it worth it? I wanted to say yes immediately. I wanted to stand firm. But the truth was I didn't know. Because I hadn't heard from Tamara since our meeting. No texts. No calls. Nothing. What if Clark had hurt her? What if my help had made things worse? What if she was suffering more now because I couldn't just mind my own business? If there's even a chance I helped her, I said quietly, then yes. It was worth it. But driving home that night, my hands shaking on the wheel, I wasn't sure I believed it. My phone stayed silent. Tamara stayed silent. And Clark's threats got louder. I was walking home from the grocery store when Clark stepped out from between two parked cars. We need to talk, he said, blocking my path. My heart jumped into my throat. There's nothing to talk about. Oh, I think there is. He moved closer, and I could smell alcohol on his breath. See, I thought I made myself clear at your workplace. But then I find out you've been asking around about domestic violence shelters, printing out resources, playing detective. I don't know what you're. Don't lie to me. He shoved me hard. I stumbled backward, my grocery bag hitting the pavement. You think you're going to save her? You think she's going to leave me for some nobody like you? This isn't about me. It's about her safety. Clark laughed, but it was a hollow, dangerous sound. Her safety? I provide everything for her. A home, food, security. And you want to take that away? For what? So she can end up alone and struggling. You mean so she can be free from someone who hurts her? His face darkened. I never. She's lying to you. Don't you get it? Women like her, they need drama. They need attention. She probably loved that you play the hero. She had a bruise on her face, Clark. She's clumsy. Always has been. You pushed her. Something in his eyes shifted. Something cold and calculating. If you contact her again, he said, his voice dropping to a menacing whisper, there will be consequences. I have screenshots. I have witnesses who saw you harassing her on the street. I have documentation of your obsessive behavior. One more move, and I'll bury you. She deserves to be treated with respect, I said, refusing to back down. What you're doing to her is wrong. It's abuse. Clark's fist came out of nowhere. I barely had time to dodge, feeling his knuckles graze my jaw. I stumbled back as he lunged forward, but suddenly people were there: a jogger, a woman walking her dog, someone yelling, "Hey, that's enough." The jogger, a big guy in his 30s, positioned himself between us. Walk away, man. Both of you. Clark straightened his shirt, his expression shifting instantly from rage to calm. This man has been stalking my girlfriend. I was just defending my family. I don't care what your story is, the jogger said. You throw another punch, I'm calling the cops. Clark smiled at me. That same cold smile from before. This isn't over, he said quietly. Then he walked away like nothing had happened. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely pick up my groceries. The woman with the dog approached me. Are you okay? Should I call someone? I'm fine, I lied. But I wasn't fine. Walking home, I kept looking over my shoulder. Every shadow felt like a threat. Every car that slowed down made my pulse race. Did my promise to help put Tamara in more danger? The question consumed me. What if Clark took his anger out on her? What if my interference made him more controlling, more violent? What if I just made everything worse? Maybe Raymond was right. Maybe I should have just walked away that day. Raymond was waiting in my apartment when I got there. One look at my face, and he knew. What happened? Clark. He almost got physical. Jesus, Robert. Raymond ran his hands through his hair. The police came by my place today. They're investigating you. Clark filed a formal complaint. Harassment. Stalking. They asked me questions about your behavior, your mental state. The room started spinning. This is insane. No, this is what I warned you about. This is what happens when you stick your nose where it doesn't belong. A woman is being abused, Raymond. And what have you done to help her? Really? You've made your life hell. You've made her life hell. You think Clark isn't taking this out on her? You think she's safer now? The words hit me like a physical blow because I've been thinking the exact same thing. I made a promise, I said weakly. Promises don't mean anything if you're dead or in jail, Robert. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my phone next to me. Silent. No messages from Tamara. No way to know if she was okay. Had I saved anyone? Or had I just destroyed 2 lives instead of 1? 2 weeks passed. Nothing. No texts. No calls. No sightings of Tamara anywhere in the neighborhood. It was like she'd vanished in a thin air. I checked Java Corner Cafe 3 times, hoping to see her sitting in that corner booth. Empty every time. I drove past the street where we first met, looking for any sign. Nothing. The not knowing was torture. Had she left Clark? Was she safe? Or had something terrible happened? Every night, my mind conjured worse scenarios. Clark's rage, Tamara's fear, the silence between them before violence. Then Clark started a new campaign. He posted in neighborhood Facebook groups. My girlfriend is missing. A man named Robert became obsessed with her, harassed her repeatedly. Now she's gone. If anyone has information, please contact the police. He included my picture. The comments flooded in. This is terrifying. I hope she's okay. Men like this are why women are afraid. My phone rang constantly. Unknown numbers, reporters asking for comments, neighbors demanding I leave the area. Someone spray-painted stalker on my car. Margaret called me into her office again. Robert, I'm sorry. Given the circumstances, we think it's best if you take a leave of absence. Paid for now, until this situation resolves. I was being erased. Slowly, systematically. Raymond stopped by less frequently. When he did, he looked at me with something between pity and frustration. Have you heard from her? No. So you destroyed your life for nothing. I don't know if it was for nothing. I don't know anything. 3 weeks after Tamara disappeared, my phone rang. Unknown number. Robert? This is Diana Reeves. I'm a domestic violence advocate with Safe Harbor House. My heart stopped. Is Tamara okay? I can't give you specific details, but I can tell you that a woman matching the description you provided did reach out to our organization. She's entered our confidential shelter program. Relief flooded through me so intensely I had to sit down. She's safe. She's safe. But Robert, I need you to understand something. For her safety and yours, you cannot have any contact with her. No calls, no messages, no attempts to locate her. Clark is dangerous, and any connection between you two puts her at risk. I understand. She wanted me to tell you something, though. She said to tell you, thank you for not walking away. You gave me the courage to save myself. My eyes burned with tears I've been holding back for weeks. One more thing, Diana continued. What you did, giving her resources, respecting her timeline, that's exactly right. You didn't try to rescue her. You gave her the tools to rescue herself. That's how real help works. After she hung up, I sat in the silence of my apartment. My reputation was destroyed. My job was on hold. My friendships were strained. People I'd known for years crossed the street to avoid me. But tomorrow was safe. Raymond came over that evening, finding me staring out the window. The advocate called. I said before he could speak, Tamara's in a shelter. She's safe. Raymond was quiet for a long moment. Was it worth it? I thought about Tamara's face that day on the pavement. The fear in her eyes. The bruises hidden under long sleeves. The trembling hands clutching a burner phone she'd bought with secretly saved grocery money. Even if everything went wrong for me, I said slowly, if she's safe, then yes. It was worth it. Raymond sat down next to me. You know, you're probably the craziest person I've ever met, right? Yeah. But maybe the world needs more crazy people like you. We sat there in silence, watching the sun set over a neighborhood that thought I was a monster. But somewhere, in a place I'd never know, Tamara was sleeping without fear for the first time in years. And that had to be enough. Even if I never saw her again. Even if I never knew how her story ended. Even if my promise cost me everything. It had to be enough. But deep down, I wondered, would I ever know if it really made a difference? 3 months. 92 days since Tamara disappeared. I counted them. Life slowly, painfully, began to resemble normal again. The spray paint came off my car. The Facebook posts got buried under newer neighborhood drama. People stopped crossing the street when they saw me, though some still looked at me with suspicion. Margaret allowed me back to work with conditions. Keep your head down. No more situations. Clark moved away. Someone said he went to another state, started fresh somewhere else. I wondered if he'd find another woman to control, another life to ruin. The thought kept me awake some nights. I went back to my routines. Gym, work, groceries. But everything feels different now. Muted, like I was watching my own life from a distance. I thought about Tamara constantly. Where was she? Had she rebuilt her life? Did she ever think about the stranger who'd helped her on the sidewalk? Or had she moved on, burying that painful chapter along with everything else? The not knowing was its own kind of torture. Raymond came over one Saturday with pizza and beer. We sat on my balcony watching the city lights. I owe you an apology, he said suddenly. For what? For telling you not to help her. For making you feel like caring was stupid. He took a long drink. I was scared for you. And I was wrong. You did the right thing, Robert. Even though it cost you. That takes real courage. Doesn't feel courageous. Feels like I barely survived. That's what courage is, though. Doing the right thing even when it destroys you. He paused. What do you think about her? Every day. You think she's okay? I hope so. That's all I can do. Hope. The experience had changed me. I understand now that helping people isn't like the movies. There's no dramatic rescue. No triumphant music. No neat resolution. Sometimes helping means sacrifice with no reward. Sometimes it means never knowing if you made a difference. But I also understood something else. I'd do it again. Maybe not the exact same way. I was more careful now, more aware of boundaries and safety. I'd learned to involve professionals earlier to recognize when I was in over my head. But if I saw someone sitting on a pavement, scared and alone, I'd still stop, still extend my hand, still make a promise I'd do everything to keep. Because the alternative, walking past suffering, ignoring someone's silent plea for help that would cost me something far more valuable than my reputation. It would cost me myself. Mrs. Chun started smiling at me again in the corner store. Marcus asked if I wanted to grab lunch. Small steps toward redemption. But late at night, I'd still check my phone. Still hope for a message that never came. "You did good, man," Raymond said, breaking the silence. "Even if she never knows how much it will cost you. Even if you never hear from her again. You did good." I wanted to believe him. 3 months became 4. The seasons changed. Life moved forward. And I tried to accept that some promises, once kept, simply end. No closure. No thank you. Not knowing. Just the quiet certainty that when it mattered, I didn't walk away. That had to be enough. But sometimes when my phone buzzed, my heart would still jump. Just for a second. Just in case. It never was. Until it was. The knock came on a Tuesday evening, just as I was heating up leftover Chinese food. I almost didn't answer. I'd grown cautious about unexpected visitors, about surprises that might unravel the fragile peace I'd built. But something made me open the door. And there she was. For a moment, I didn't recognize her. This woman, standing in my doorway, bore little resemblance to the broken person I'd met on the pavement 4 months ago. She stood straight, shoulders back, chin up. Her eyes, no longer hidden behind sunglasses, were clear and bright. She wore a professional blazer, her hair styled, her expression open. She was smiling. "Tamara," I whispered, not quite believing it. She held up something. My business card, worn and creased, like it had been folded and unfolded 1,000 times. The card Clark had torn to pieces. She kept one piece. "Does that promise still count?" she asked, her voice steady and strong. "The one where you said you'd help if I needed anything?" I couldn't speak, couldn't move, just stared at her. This phoenix rose from ashes. "I'm not here because I need saving," she continued quickly. "I'm here because I needed you to know. Your promise, it saved my life. Come in," I managed. "Please." She stepped inside, and I noticed everything about her was different. The way she moved without flinching. The way she made eye contact. The way she existed in space without trying to disappear. "I don't even know where to start," she said, sitting on my couch like she owned every inch of her presence. "Start anywhere." She took a deep breath. "That day you gave me the resources, the shelter information, I hid those papers inside an old textbook Clark never touched. I'd take them out at night when he was asleep and just stare at them, trying to find courage. What changed? He found my burner phone, lost his mind. It was bad, Robert, really bad. And in that moment, I realized if I stayed, I would die. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually. So I waited until he went to work, grabbed one bag of clothes and those papers you gave me, and I ran. You just left. I called Diana from a gas station. She picked me up within an hour, got me into the shelter that same day. Tamara's eyes shone with unshed tears, but they weren't tears of pain. They were tears of triumph. The shelter gave me everything. A safe room, legal advocates who helped me file a restraining order, a therapist who helped me understand that what happened wasn't my fault, job training. They helped me rebuild from nothing. Where are you now? I have an apartment across town. Small, but it's mine. I got a job at a marketing firm, entry level, but it's a start. I'm taking night classes. And Robert, she smiled wider. I haven't looked over my shoulder in fear for 2 months. 2 whole months. I felt my throat tighten. I'm so proud of you. You gave me that, she said, her voice breaking slightly. You were a complete stranger, and you refused to walk away, even when it cost you everything. I heard what happened, the rumors, your job, Clark showing up at your workplace. Diana told me some of it. I know helping me will destroy your peace. You were worth it. Why? She leaned forward. Why did you risk so much for someone you didn't know? Because someone should have. Because you deserve help. Because... I paused, searching for words. Because walking past someone who's suffering isn't living. It's just existing. Tamara wiped her eyes. I carried that piece of your card with me every single day. When I was scared in the shelter. When I had to face Clark in court for the restraining order. When I walked into job interviews terrified, they'd see me as broken. I touch it in my pocket and remember, someone believed I was worth saving. Someone kept their promise even when it would have been easier to walk away. You saved yourself, Tamara. I just gave you a phone number. No, she said firmly. You gave me hope. You gave me proof that good people still exist, that I deserve to be treated with respect. You saw me in my lowest, and you didn't see trash or a burden or someone too damaged to matter. You saw a person worth helping. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of 4 months hanging between us. Clark, I finally asked, violated the restraining order twice. He's facing charges now, and he can't find me. The shelter helped me disappear legally, new bank accounts, everything. He's someone else's problem now. Or hopefully, no one's. I'm glad you're safe. I'm more than safe, Robert. I'm free. I'm alive. I'm myself again. She stood, and I walked her to the door. I needed you to know that your promise counted. It counted more than you'll ever understand. As she turned to leave, she paused. Oh, and Robert? Raymond called me. Through Diana. He wanted to apologize for telling you not to help. Raymond called you? He said, tell Robert he was right. Tell him some promises are worth keeping even when the world says to walk away. She smiled. You have good people in your life. After she left, I stood in my doorway for a long time, holding that worn business card she'd returned to me. For months of silence. For months of wondering. For months of questioning if any of it mattered. And now I know. The promise counted. It counted. Tamara didn't leave right away. She sat back down, and we talked for another hour. About her therapy, her new job, the small apartment she'd decorated herself, the friends she was making, the life she was building brick by brick. Everything went wrong for you because of me, she said quietly as the evening stretched into night. Your reputation, your job, your peace of mind. Clark made your life hell. It was my fault. It wasn't your fault. It was his. But you pay the price anyway. She looked at me with such intensity. And here's what I need you to understand. Robert, everything went right for me because of you. You gave me a way out when I couldn't see one. You kept a promise when it would have been easier, safer to forget about the broken woman on the sidewalk. I couldn't forget you. I know. And that's what made the difference. She pulled out her phone. Can I ask you something? Would you meet with Raymond and me? Together? I want to thank him too. Raymond, for having a friend brave enough to follow his conscience. For not stopping you, even when he was scared for you. For being there afterward. She smiled. Good people need to know they're good people. Especially when the world tells them they're wrong. 3 days later, the three of us met at a coffee shop. Not Java Corner, too many memories. A new place. A fresh start. Raymond was awkward at first, not knowing what to say. But Tamara broke the ice immediately. You tried to protect him, she said. You saw the danger coming and tried to warn him. That's friendship. I told him not to help you, Raymond said quietly. I was wrong. You were scared for him. That's not wrong. That's love. Tamara reached across the table, touching both our hands. But Robert helped anyway, and you stood by him when everything fell apart. You both saved me in different ways. Raymond's eyes got watery. I'm just glad you're okay. I'm more than okay. I'm free. We sat there, 3 people connected by one moment on a sidewalk. 3 people who'd learned that compassion is messy and complicated and sometimes costs everything. But it's worth it. Raymond ordered another round of coffee, and Tamara told us about her plans. She wanted to volunteer at Safe Harbor House, help other women the way she'd been helped. She wanted to go back to school, finish her degree. She wanted to live without fear. You know what the therapist told me? Tamara said. She said most abuse victims never get out because no one offers them a hand. No one sees them. No one cares enough to get involved. She looked at me. You saw me, Robert. When everyone else was walking past, you stopped. You saw me. As we were leaving, Tamara hugged Raymond first. Thank you for being his friend, she whispered. Then she hugged me, and I felt the strength in her embrace. Not the trembling, broken woman from months ago. This was someone who'd been through fire and came out forged in steel. Your promise counted, she said. More than you'll ever know. After she left, Raymond and I stood in the parking lot. You did good, man, he said. We did good, I corrected. He smiled. Yeah, we did. Driving home, I thought about everything that had happened. The rumors, the threats, the job suspension, the months of not knowing. The cost had been real. The pain had been real. But so was Tamara's freedom. So was the look in her eyes when she said, I'm free. So was the knowledge that when someone needed help, I didn't walk away. I pulled out my phone and texted Margaret, I'm ready to come back to work full-time. And I'd like to discuss starting a company partnership with Safe Harbor House. Pro bono work. It's time we gave back. Her response came quickly. Let's talk Monday. I'm proud of you, Robert. That night, I slept better than I had in 4 months. Because I finally understood something. The world will always tell you not to get involved. It will tell you to mind your business, protect yourself, and walk away from other people's problems. And sometimes the world is wrong. Sometimes a stranger sitting on a pavement isn't just a stranger. She's someone's daughter, someone's friend, someone who deserves a chance. Sometimes a promise made in a moment of chaos becomes the difference between life and death. Sometimes everything going wrong is actually everything going right, just in ways you can't see yet. My phone buzzed. A text from Tamara. Thank you for not walking away. Thank you for showing me that good people still exist. Thank you for keeping your promise. You changed my life, Robert. I hope you know that. I typed back. You changed mine too. You showed me that compassion is worth the cost. Always. 3 dots appeared. Then, does that promise still count? The one where you'll help if I need anything. I smiled. Always. Good. Because I'm going to need a reference for grad school applications. Think you can help with that? It would be my honor. The conversation that started on the pavement 4 months ago wasn't ending. It was evolving. Tamara wasn't just surviving anymore. She was thriving, and I got to witness it. That was the real reward. Not gratitude, though that was nice. Not validation, though that helped heal the wounds. The reward was knowing that when faced with a choice, help or walk away, I chose help, even when it cost me everything, even when the world called me crazy, even when my own friend begged me to stop. I chose compassion, and compassion chose to reward me in ways I never expected. Not with money or recognition or restored reputation, but with something far more valuable, the knowledge that I mattered, that my actions had weight, that a single moment of kindness could ripple outward and change a life. Sometimes the world belongs to those brave enough to stop when everyone else keeps walking. Sometimes a promise made to a stranger becomes the most important promise you'll ever keep. And sometimes, just sometimes, everything going wrong is exactly what needs to happen for something beautiful to emerge from the chaos. My promise counted. It counted more than I ever knew. And I make it again in a heartbeat, because that's what it means to be human. To see suffering and refuse to look away. To offer help even when it's inconvenient, dangerous, or costly. To keep promises even when breaking them would be easier. That's what it means to live, not just exist. And I was finally, truly living